Well, your pole man, pole young rider, you could say, Amon Odaki lines up to take pole position for the second time here. Obviously, no new grids sorted out based on times from race 1 or any formats like that. He's got Carter Thompson alongside him, and then Shinya Izawa, yesterday's race winner. What drama awaits now in the Asia Talent Cup? This second race of the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup 2022 about to get underway. Who will get the biggest push off the line? Who will get the whole shot in towards turn 1? What drama unfolds thereafter? The lights come on, and they're out, and we're away for this second race. It's another real good push off the line from Shinya Izawa, but the number 13, that is Hakim Danish, the Malaysian rider, gets the jump and looks to be getting the whole shot in towards turn 1, but will he be outbroken by Amon Odaki? I think no. Danish does actually maintain that whole shot at first position in towards the first turn, all safely through and shuffling in behind the number 14. Well, he didn't get away yesterday. He's certainly not getting away today either.
Yeah, yesterday was a bit of a rougher start for Odaki from pole position, but today into second then, it looks like, and Danish in the lead. So good stuff from the Japanese rookie to just, learn from that mistake yesterday and certainly improve on it today. If not quite the whole shot, it's nearly as good as. So he slots into second, and so far so good. Drama-free here in race 2.
Well, you've got Odaki now making a move for the lead. So number 14 overtakes number 13 then. And that was very nicely done. Did not compromise his line or drive out of that corner whatsoever. You've got the number 2 of Rei Wakamatsu going off track limits there just in the background. And we've got Izawa still just, well, holding firm in that 13th, in that third position. Mie, yesterday's second place finisher, just behind him.
Yeah, so we've got all of our key players having pretty solid starts then. Certainly those key players from yesterday and those with a little bit more experience. And I think this could be an interesting race now, because so far we've not had any drama either, so everyone's still very much together on track. Nicholas as well made quite a good start there. He'll be hoping to get a few more laps under his belt today.
Yes, that is a really good, solid start from Nicholas down in P7. Really well done to him so far. This is pretty impressive. It's a lot more calmer. I think yesterday with all those accidents that we had, it's that build-up of tension and releasing it for that very first race of the season. So many of them rookies. This is the first MotoGP event they will have properly competed at on the same circuit as these riders. Of course, the Mini GP World Series goes on a smaller karting track at the Valencia circuit. So it's a lot more pressure to deal with, and I think that might have been what we saw yesterday. Yeah,
possibly a little bit. Just those and those early nerves as well. Once you realise, like, wow, there's real points on the table here now. It's not just about lap times and making those adjustments and getting up there. It's time to also get the job done and cross the line at the end of the race. And unfortunately, few nerves, few moves that maybe were a little bit too ambitious, but so far so good in this race. And at the moment then we've got those 6 out front with a little bit of daylight just behind. I think is that Carter Thompson at the back of that lead group, but I'm sure that will probably get closed down quite quickly, and I don't think we're going to see a breakaway too early on yet.
Well, even if we do, we tend to see a race of 2 halves, don't we? A little breakaway at the start, but then everybody else comes into their own, gets themselves sorted, faffing less, overtaking each other less, messing up lines less, and actually catch up the leading group once again. But that could be famous last words and a bit of a commentator's curse on this second lap. So we shall see. Still though, Hakim Danish out front, overtaken Odaki in towards that first turn last time around. And well, Izawa just, it's all very calm, Fran, really.
Yeah, it is pretty calm at the moment, isn't it? Not too much drama, although Odaki there looking to prove us very wrong immediately. But no, so here we're on board then with the number 6, Carter Thompson, the Australian, who it did come up, he'd gone to the medical centre yesterday, but I don't think he had. He was actually okay. That was the wrong number that was displayed. But he was one of the riders in that crash, so he'll be looking for a lot more today. But we seem to see him sort of bide his time a little bit in the early stages. Unfortunately, that plan never came to fruition as he didn't see the flag. But we'll have to see if there are some of those tactics going to come into play today as well. But I think that gap as well behind Thompson has already closed to the number 20 on the chase. Yeah, They're right back in there.
Yeah, Pratama on the chase as well. He had a really good ride yesterday. Qualified down in 8th position, I should say, did the Thai rider. So when he was fighting up towards the front in the early stage, I thought, well, that's a little bit of a surprise. But no, holding firm in P7 at the moment, just one place further up than where he qualified. You can see him in the back of shot there, number 20. So will he be in the mix later on in the race as riders come round the final corner once more? Slipstream takes effect. They all fold in very neatly in line. They all five riders, become one essentially in the view down that straight. And it looks like Odaki's got the lead once again. Will cross the line in first position. Fastest lap of the race at 2:11.5 is on par with that pole position lap time that he set yesterday morning.
It's been beaten already though. 2:11.2 there from Pratama, I think it was, over the line. So good stuff from the Indonesian rider, and you can see now that gap a little bit bigger. So it'll be interesting to see how that concertina effect plays out as we maybe get a little bit more chopping and changing at the front. We now can see Odaki and Mie have gone through into the lead. So yeah, Danish really losing out at that slipstream now, the number 13 at the back of this 5-rider fight at the front.
Well, Gun Mie out the front. He was very, very intent on being out front as much as possible yesterday. There's one of the slightly more experienced riders in this leading group, along with Hakim Danish. We did see Mie present last year. Very close friends with the 2021 Asia Talent Cup champion, Tayo Furusato, of course. Them two were cycling together frequently during the winter period, I was told, and Tayo pretty much smashing Gun at this early stage. He is the, complete fully paid up professional rider and all that. He kind of has to be. But
I love the way you say frequently. Like if we were to tell someone how often we'd had lunch, it'd just be like frequently.
Yeah, exactly. Very
cool.
I'm not assuming they live completely closely together and travel together and everything like that, but it was more than one occasion.
Well, it's great as well for these guys to have those rivals who can also be your friends and push you in training as well, whether it be just physical training or on track training. And getting a little bit spicy now at the front. 3 abreast. Who's going to come out on top? I think it's going to be Mie. Yeah, the number 5 then holds that line and takes back the lead.
Pratama, though, looking very, very strong and intent on making a move towards the podium. We saw him hovering around the top 5, top 4 yesterday, but not really able to fully trouble the leaders in those first sort of positions before he was taken out of the race. But you can see the smaller Indonesian figure there just going to be tucked perfectly in the slipstream behind Gun Mie and Amon Odaki as we come across the line now to click down towards 11 laps to go. Wow, that was a slingshot and a half that Odaki, the number 14, got to head over that side of the track. Now, what about the 21 of Ozawa, yesterday's winner? Will we see him take the lead for the first time? I don't think so, because Odaki seems like a bit of a demon on the brakes, and Pratama says no to Ozawa going through as well and towards second.
Yeah, that was nice stuff then. Odaki taking charge again, the number 14 back in the race lead. But yeah, Pratama looking very, and I know a lot of people hate this word, racy, there in second place. The number 7 really hustling to try and find a way through, and he has done, it looks like, already.
He's really done his homework overnight, hasn't he? This is the Pratama taking the lead. The whole of Indonesia goes wild for the young rider in the 4 of this Asia Talent Cup race. Race 2 at Losail.
Absolutely. So we've got this big group at the front then, and then I think, is it Al Sahuti in a bit of daylight by himself there in 9th? It's hard to tell. I think it is, yeah, because it's Wakamatsu and Thompson at the back of this group. They have very usefully coloured helmets with the bright orange and bright yellow. So great job again then from the Qatari wildcard to be in the same postcode as these guys. But this little freight train then of 8 riders, I mean, you couldn't bet against any of them at the moment, could you? It's still close as ever, but certainly the more the guys right at the front of this train fight it out, the more those just behind are able to hang on, and especially with that slipstream down the really long main straight here at Losail. Yeah,
when you consider the previous, that's the number 11. Laung Cleo's gone down. That's a real shame. We saw him go down in yesterday's race as well, but fortunately up and trying to get running once again. Bit of a taller character is Laung Cleo on that smaller Asia Talent Cup NS250R.
Yeah, certainly you can see the difference in height and the size of these riders a lot more on the smaller bikes, can't you, than maybe you can on bigger machinery, certainly like MotoGP. But yeah, it's not seeming to make too much of a huge difference for a lot of these guys, so that's good stuff, because obviously equal opportunity is what we're meant to get from equal machinery, but sometimes you can be at a bit of a disadvantage or advantage depending on that. But so far all good, and it's the braking zone into turn 1 that's proved proving the real decider here.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see yesterday Gumnier, his top speed wasn't exactly that far down on Amon Odaki's, who's a much smaller frame, the number 14 out front there than the number 5. So pretty even Stevens, as we see Al Sahuti got the fastest lap that time around, 2:11.1, fastest lap of the race. The previous lap to that, well, a lot of these riders were in the mid 2:12. So what you say about these riders overtaking each other for that first position, holding everybody up, allowing the pack to really bunch up once again, does have a huge impact.
Yeah, racing can be a funny business, can't it? When it's like the guys in the lead of the race are holding everyone up. But it is so true.
Well, that was
bit of a twitch.
Odaki. Well, he had front end twitches quite a lot yesterday as well. And who did that let through into the front? I think
Supreme pickpocketing.
Danish, I think it is. Yes,
I think it was. 13. Yeah, lovely stuff then. Number 13. That was pretty brave. That was. Went through on one and then thought, I think there's still room, and got the job done there. So nice stuff then to do. See Danish back in the lead, but yeah, that was another little bit of a warning for Odaki, and like you say, we saw a couple of those yesterday as well.
Mainly down in towards turn 1 and the final corner, turn 16 as well from Odaki. So I wonder what sort of homework he's been working on overnight, talking to one of the rider coaches that we have here in the Asia Talent Cup. Something not quite settled on his particular Moto3 machine.
So they should probably worry for the future if that is settled at some point then.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, so as you were at the moment then, we've got Danish in the lead, the number 13, with that pickpocketing manoeuvre round the outside.
Goodness me, that was Pratama. Just sensational stuff there.
That was lovely, that was. The number 7 then, absolutely on a mission this Sunday. Some great moves we've seen already, and I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a move now. Is he going to go for it? No, not quite. But the number 7 looking very keen then to get to the race lead again.
Wow, goodness me, that is extremely impressive then from the number 7, coming up behind the Malaysian rider Hakim Danish in towards first place. Final corner once again, there will be 9 laps to go. We got Farouche Hafi, one of the Malaysian riders, sadly crashing out of this race as well. We do have Langplios actually rejoined now, circulating off the back, 1 minute down on this leading pack, unfortunately, so it'll be no points today likely for him.
Yeah, and you could see that puff of dust then as they came over the line and down the main straight. Need to be careful not to take too many liberties on that left-hand side of the straight as we're looking at it. Right-hand side as they are. And who is this that's gone down? Oh, it is Hafi, yeah. So at least we can see then the Malaysian rider all okay. Just, I'm sure, quite frustrated to have finished this race a little bit early.
Here's what happened at turn 10. Oh. That's on the exit of that, so running a little too wide onto the grass. And unfortunately, well, there's not a lot of adhesion offered up by AstroTurf or natural biological grass. Well, unless you ride motocross.
I enjoy the natural biological grass. It's very specific. Well, is Pratama going to go for the lead here?
Wow,
no.
That was near a bit of a side swipe for Odaki, who's regained the lead, I should say.
He has indeed. So, yeah, number 7 then, not quite through into that race lead, but looking like he's ready to make all sorts of moves is the Indonesian. But we've still got this little freight train at the front though. We've not got any big splits in the group at the moment. And Al Sahuti as well, I think, has joined this little train. So great stuff from the Qatari rider to not only be in the same postcode as those with a little bit more experience in the full-time riders, but also right in the actual group.
The other rider on a move at the moment, keep an eye on the yellow helmet. That's Rei Wakamatsu, the number 2 fastest lap of this leading group last time around, and well, crossed the line in fact in 7th place, but has moved up 2 further places since then into P5. So another rider that fell in yesterday's race, another rider with years of experience under their belt in the Asia Talent Cup last year, looking to really make a name for themselves in 2022.
Yeah, and we saw that from Wakamatsu as well yesterday. Just seemed to give himself a little bit of time to get into the race, and then started really getting up in that fight for the podium as it was at the time, in sort of the latter half of the race. So good stuff to see the number 2 once again making some progress.
Well, we're coming down towards 1 lap to go, and it will be halfway through this second Asia Talent Cup race of round 1 at Qatar. We were told this morning actually with the next race, the sets of races in Indonesia being so close, the Asia Talent Cup riders will be staying in Qatar because of course the variety of quarantine rules in their home countries. Better to stay all together, so the camaraderie will be even stronger as we get to Indonesia.
Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it? It's good for these guys as well if they can sort of train together and everything like we were saying before. That can make a big difference. What are we going to see in the replay here? Is it a bit of elbows out or just breaking into turn 1? I think it's just a Beautiful
beauty
slow-mo,
shot.
yes. It looks pretty mean, that helmet design with the livery of these ATC bikes. It's a great combo that Odaki's rocking there. Yeah, so close round there then. But he's still in the lead as we go back to live race pictures then. The number 14 holding firm, but the number 7 still looking very threatening there. And Danish there just taking a quick look over his shoulder. Yes, they're very much still with you.
Yeah, exactly. This whole route goes down towards P9 with Thompson just off the back there. I think probably just keeping calm perhaps, or perhaps finding with a little bit of pain. He did say he had a bit of an impact yesterday, a little bit sore this morning, but didn't look as though it would be causing him too much trouble. As we see there, P7 Al Sahuti last time out, quarter of a second quicker than Amon Odaki out front in this race. There is Al Sahuti right there.
Yeah, really impressive stuff from the number 23. He's set a few fastest laps a few times round, hasn't he? So really up there today, and on purely deserved and impressive pace. No drama around him at all. Fought his way into this freight train on complete merit. So great stuff from him, from the wild card. But Pratama again, he just looks so impatient to get past, but then ultimately doesn't quite go for it. Maybe just trying to pile that pressure on Odaki ahead of him.
And could still be even experimenting with some different lines. This is the final corner, that was the penultimate one. Perhaps he's trying to work out what is going to be, give me the best run towards the line here. This is a completely different set of lines we're seeing from Odaki. So watch Pratama in the slipstream there. Will it be enough to make the overtake before the checkered flag?
I don't think so. I think if Odaki isn't attacked into the final corner like yesterday, I think he will be able to make it to the line first. Obviously yesterday he was sent wide by that move from Gunmie, but if he is able to choose his own line round that final corner, I think they're going to have a big job to stop the number 14 before the flag. But rehearsals, that's what they're for. Just checking that out, gathering all those informations, that's great English, all that information, and trying to make a plan for the end of the race. Because of course the ultimate winning plan yesterday, you kind of have to depend on the two guys ahead of you definitely going for the same move. So just sitting back and trying to do that is not necessarily the best plan of attack. It's getting very close now here at the front, a little bit more impatience, and we've got Danish back in the race lead and Mie going for a big dive there, but the number 5 ultimately I think staying where he was.
Yeah, fastest lap of the race it went to Danish last time around. The only 2:10, the second 2:10 that we have in this leading group. The other one going to Gunmie. In fact, he was also looking to make a move through there, the number 5. So this is on free practice 2 pace, and that is only 0.2 of a second slower than the all-time lap record set by Nakarinato at Puvapat back in 2015 as well. Pratama looking for another route, possible route around Odaki in towards turn 10. That's where we lost. Was it Haffy earlier on? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was indeed. Yep. So, yeah, it's pretty hot pace out there. Trying to make some sort of hot pace, hot weather joke, but brain not quite fired up enough for that so far on Sunday. But yeah, it is pretty quick today's race. It's certainly a bit quicker than yesterday, and I think a lot of riders will take heart from the fact that they're still very much in this battle, despite that, those quicker lap times at the front.
Big leading group, isn't it? With 9 riders fighting it out. Puetisan and Thompson just off the back there. I mean, it can literally all change. It completely reverse the order come the end of the actual race itself, as Pratama makes a mistake into that final turn, lost a lot of drive and a lot of places with it as well. Wakamatsu nearly shares some paint with the Indonesian rider. They're neck and neck now, along with Al Sahuti down this home straight, and we've got number 20 Puetisan on the AstroTurf there, going alongside pit wall. Not a lot of grip there, but he managed to keep it upright, which is the main thing, and he's actually kind of made it work for him. He's made a couple of overtakes using the grass.
He has.
I don't really understand how that works, but okay, here we are. This is what the Asia Talent Cup's all about. Maybe that's the best line. Please don't use it.
Yeah, no, please don't use that again, guys. But yeah, Puetisan then ending up on the AstroTurf, that big puff of dust again, but no harm done. And also Pratama able to stay in that group, or they did lose out. You can see the big difference it makes when you don't get that exit.
We have a rear wheel contact with the front wheel there. I'm not sure who has fallen back nearly off the back of this group, and that's Odaki having another front end moment there at turn 5. This this is turn 6 then. Another overtaken opportunity. There's the number 21 of Azawa. Not talked about him for some time. He's been very quiet.
Under the radar, just putting in the laps, isn't he? The number 21, yesterday's race winner.
It was Pratama, I think.
I think it was Pratama and Wakamatsu then that also ended up taking a bit of evasive action there. So they've tagged back onto the group, but then got a little bit of work to do to get back up to the front of this. But then, of course, no one's going to be in pure attack mode probably unless they really feel like they've got superior pace still for another couple of laps.
Yeah, you really feel the tone of the race changes when it clicks down to about 4 laps to go. The moves start getting a little bit more ambitious. Elbows come out just a little bit more. You can tell the rider out front really wants this victory. He was livid as he came across the line, was Gunmie yesterday, not to actually take that victory. He nearly bottomed out the suspension. The Age of Talent Cup machine thought it was riding an MXGP, basically, at that particular point.
Certainly, I can imagine the frustration. He obviously made that move and made it work. He did get past Odaki, which was the rider he'd attacked. Just unfortunately, of course, Azawa was there to pick both their pockets with that smooth, just lovely exit onto the main straight, tucked in, job done. It wasn't quite enough meters left for those guys to get back on terms with him in the slipstream. Let's see what happens then this time around. No AstroTurf, please. A little bit of a cleaner run. You can see they all absolutely get glued together, don't they?
And they really hug that white line, don't they? Goodness me, so neck and neck across the line. I mean, goodness me, what were the gaps there? Wow. So 0.045 split positions 1 and 2, 7 thousandths of a second there, and then 5 thousandths of a second back further on that point too. Extremely impressive racing here in the Age of Talent Cup. And in this, we got Fadilla's gone down, I think, and Danish, and there's all sorts of swapping going around. The slipstream really just messed out the order completely, didn't it? I was going to take stock, found the 5 laps to go. What a range of nationalities we have here in this leading group, from Japanese to Al Sahuti, the Qatari rider, in second position, now making a move for the lead at his home circuit. A Thai rider in fourth. We've got an Australian, an Indonesian, a Malaysian as well. I mean, well, the state of Asian motorsport is in good hands.
It is indeed, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good mix this season. Some fresh faces immediately getting up in the mix, and good to see, of course, wildcards allowed back. And yeah, you can see that position progression there. 8 positions gained for the number 23, the Qatari wildcard. So great job from him. And yeah, it's just great, isn't it? We're back in business with the ATC.
Yeah, well and truly properly after 2 sort of interrupted seasons, you could argue, in 2020 and 2021. Al Sahuti, well, he sniffs a victory now, doesn't he, with 5 laps to go. How much would that mean to him, winning on his home circuit in an event such a prestigious as the Age of Talent Cup? Even at this early stage on the Road to MotoGP program, you can see the stickers adorned on the side of the bikes. This is the Road to Red Bull Rookies Cup at the moment as well, so it's an early stage, but still, that win would mean so much to him.
Yeah, definitely. There's some serious prestige here for those guys who are competing, so yeah, it would really mean an awful lot. But I don't know, I still can't call it at all. They're absolutely locked together, pretty much as you were as soon as this group had made that break, other than Sahuti managing to just chase them down and really get on form with these guys at the front. And he looks like he really wants that lead, doesn't he? The number 23. Would be great to see him lead this race on home turf.
Yeah, well, he might get an opportunity here. Across the line they come. Odaki, definitely the rider who's most confident leading out front. He did manage to set a lot of those quick lap times from free practice and qualifying, all on his own. But what about in the run towards turn 1 now? Will Al Sahuti manage to outbrake him? No, just round the outside he comes, and Pratama's made his way back through towards second position as well. So that's a great recovery from the Indonesian.
Yeah, he's just been quietly making his way back through to the front, hasn't he, there, the number 7.
Oh, a bit of a twitch there,
bit of a twitch. Quietly and not so quietly. Commentator's curse, classic. But yeah, and you can see as well, over the line, Odaki still was ahead. It wasn't by much, it was by 0.031, but if he is in that position on the final lap of the race, I'm pretty confident they're probably not going to catch him. But yeah, so great job from Pratama then. It's as you were before that drama for the Indonesian rider, back in second place, and Al Sahuti still very much in the mix in third there. So yeah, It's anything to play for, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it then. 4 laps to go. This is when the tone of the race really starts to change. The moves and the lines start getting a little bit more frantic. We'll see what the lap times are this time around as Pratama just swarming all over the back of Odaki, the 2 rookies. Although we've had Pratama competing in the Mandalika races last year in the Age of Talent Cup, but this is his first time as a full-time competitor. Track limits warning for Wakamatsu near the back of this group.
I was going to just point that out a second ago. We saw just a little bit onto the green for the number 2 there, just in the back of this group with the yellow helmet. And he also yesterday had a couple of those moments, just needs to tidy that up a little bit. What are we going to be looking at here in this replay? I
think this is Pratama trying to swarm all over the back of Odaki as he gives a big stare to the camera, or so it looks anyways. His eyes are probably pointing straight forward, to be honest, but a cracking slow-mo shot we have here from turn 10.
Absolutely. So it's still Odaki then leading the number 7 of Pratama. It's great stuff from the Japanese rookie, isn't it? And one of our colleagues, Takumi, as well, gave us some info yesterday that Odaki comes from the Shinya Nakano team in Japan, as well as did Noguchi and Matsuyama, who've come through the ATC. So yeah, got some pedigree already coming into this season. But the number 14 then still in the lead by turn 1 as well this time around, not just over the start finish line. So I think he can be pretty confident that he can keep that lead into the final corner and not get attacked like he was yesterday. But that's a big if, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's also got to watch his own sort of front end wobbles and mistakes as he breaks into that final corner as well. Not quite planted and guaranteed as Pratama now looking for a way through in towards turn 4. Will he make it? Yes, I think he will. But Odaki's been so good round the outside. Will he get the switch back in towards turn 5?
No, this time, no.
Really, really impressive for the Indonesian. Already puts a bike length between him and Odaki there. Goodness me.
Yeah, good stuff from Pratama. Then they were so close just before he went for that move and really pounced, but really nicely done from the number 7, and he takes the race lead then. And yeah, like you say, a little bit of daylight there at times, but Odaki straight back onto the back of that machine ahead of him now. I don't want to call it still. It's incredible racing so far. Carter Thompson there just starting to fall off the back of this group a little bit. They may be feeling those effects of that crash yesterday. The Australian just not quite able to hang in with these guys over race distance. But still, good performance and good he could get back out there and get some more laps as well.
Yeah, well, we talked earlier about how much it would mean for Hamad Al Sahuti to take a victory here, but also, I guess, for Pratama as well, because we've not actually had an Indonesian win at least since, well, 2020. I guess it would probably be more like 2019, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So long old time.
I feel like 2022 has begun straight after 2019, so I'm still struggling with the actual years and times.
Aren't we all?
But yeah, it's been a little while, hasn't it? So it'd be great stuff. Certainly not last year, of course. It was a Japanese clean sweep for Taya Furusate.
Exactly.
But yeah, it would be really great to see Indonesia back on the top step in the ATC, of course, and I'm sure Pratama is absolutely guns blazing to make it happen.
Yeah, definitely will be, and if not this particular race, the next time when we go to Mandalika as well, on Lombok Island, he will. Well, I bet there'll be plenty of support for him out there as well. So across the line we come, and Odaki does actually retake the lead as we come to the start
interesting
finish
as
line.
well, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. He's really nailing the exit on that final corner, or perhaps other people are keeping a little bit, cards close to their chest almost as we come onto this penultimate lap.
I do always wonder, are we being too sort of Machiavellian in believing they're really having these master plans? Or is it largely just...
Oh, wow, what a save from Pratama! Oh my goodness, that's sensational. I mean, he's got a pretty small frame. How he managed to hold on to that, I've no idea. Brilliant stuff, and he's still in contention for second, but that's given Odaki a bit of breathing space at a crucial point in the race.
I cannot believe that. He did most of that corner on the knee slider. Look at
Goodness me.
So you think, oh, he's off, and then you think, oh, he saved it, but no, and he's still not quite back on the bike.
Well, you can see there, I think that is because he's a smaller framed rider. I mean, that's not a problem he's going to have in the future, as long as he gets his calcium. But wowee, that was sensational from the Indonesian.
That was amazing. I cannot imagine the spike in heart rate there for the number 7.
And that's just me in the commentary box.
Literally. But yeah, no harm done then. Slots back into still incredibly well in podium contention, looking like he's wanting to take back second place as well. So yeah, great stuff from the number 7 to keep that upright-ish. And yeah, Odaki though, like you said, got that little bit of a gap now. Got nearly 7 tenths at the last point of of measuring that, but I'm sure Pratama, once he's just got his breath back a little bit, will be trying to cut that back down again.
And who's that? That's Al Sahuti. Goodness me, what a move there in towards this triple right-hander. But it was 0.6 of a second that Odaki had in hand over Pratama. It seems to gone up to a second now, but, well, will that be too much? I'm not sure. I reckon they can catch him on the start and finish straight this time around. It's going to be another blockbuster finish, Fran.
It certainly is. And remember as well, Odaki is not going to have every single split and know exactly what's happened behind him and when. So maybe it would have been time to pull the pin, but if he's not quite aware of what's just happened, it does give those guys behind just that little bit extra time to try and tag back on. Let's see what happens though with the slipstream then now. Pratama only got one bike ahead of him. A few of those guys at the back will probably get a bit more as there's a bigger hole in the air punched ahead of them. But let's see what we're like into the braking zone of turn 1. I imagine it's going to be Odaki in first. Can Pratama do it over the final lap?
Yeah, well, the one thing that Odaki will know is he will not hear the bike so close to him. He'll be wondering what's going on, but Pratama is closing in on this final lap then. Al Sahuti throwing absolutely everything he can at it for that home podium, that home glory. He would love a win, but maybe that's going to be out of the question. You've got yesterday's winner Izawa on his tail, along with Hakim Dinish, although Izawa, a terrible drive out of turn 3. He's been completely swamped, and Pratama's getting swamped as well by Al Sahuti. He's absolutely on one. He really wants his victory, but he goes wide, and it looks like they're going to let Odaki get away with it.
I think they are. I think that's probably going to be the moment for Amon Odaki in the lead then. Got some nice breathing space, the Japanese rider, but this shuffle is close now. Sahuti looked like he'd taken over in second, but yeah, a little bit wide. That's just allowed a couple of guys to get back past. What has the Qatari rider got? Like you say, he's going to throw everything at this on the final lap.
And even though he is a wildcard rider, he's got plenty of experience of racing at this sort of level in the European Talent Cup with the vastly experienced Leopard Racing squad as well. So he knows what experience he needs on these final laps to make these sorts of moves, as does Hakim Dinish in this second place. Is this experience coming through? Well, you might say that, but it's going to be a rookie who could take this victory if he stays on in this final sector.
Yeah, it's definitely Odaki's to lose now, isn't it? If the number 14 has no self-created drama, he is home and dry. But this second place, third place, who is going to be on the podium? It's still too close to call. Everything can change still in the final few corners.
Just 2 corners to go after this one, then 3 riders vying for that second position spot. You've got a Qatari versus a Malaysian versus an Indonesian, and then a Japanese rider looking to pick up any sort of pieces. Here we go then. This is the final corner of this second race. Odaki is clear. Al Sahuti up the inside. Dinish just behind him. Who will get the run to the line? Who will get the drive out the corner? Will the smaller frames win out over the larger ones? It's going to be glory for Odaki. He's sweeping over to make sure nobody gets him on the slipstream. He will take the victory, but who will get second place? Could it be the Qatari? It's Al Sahuti. Glory for him. Second place, and Pratama, the Indonesian, gets third ahead of Gun Mie and Hakim Dinish. What a race once again here in the Asia Talent Cup.
Yeah, that was an incredible performance then from Odaki. He has been the fastest man in the Asia Talent Cup so far in 2022, and some stylish celebration there as well. But wow, that was close for that second and third, and well, everyone really was incredibly close in that group, but especially, yeah, Al Sahuti there, just sort of at the front of a triangle of riders trying to get that best slipstream over the line. Amazing performance from him to get that podium. And in a race with very, very little attrition as well, there's not been too much drama today. That is really great for him and for Qatar here on home turf. And Pratama, that save, converting that into a podium then just a couple of laps later, incredible performance from him.
Yeah, I mean, that is just very, very impressive.
That's
indeed.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I hope that replay goes viral because it's just stunning.